Hey, welcome. I'm Sarah, professional software engineer and owner of Anigrams Productions. My first game, Memoirs of an Angel, is coming out on Steam July 30th, which is this Tuesday, just a couple days away. So go and wishlist it. And if you're watching this on YouTube later, the link will be in the description. Even and sorry, all over the place. Uh, even though I set a release date for it on Steam, I think I have to actually push a button to release it. But of course I'll be at work on Tuesday. I've got a full-time job, a 9 to 5 job, and so I can't really be dealing with that during the workday. So I will probably technically release it the night before. But we'll see. So if you're in certain parts of North America, for example, you might be able to access it early. And also, by the way, the game is already out on itch, so you can get it there instead if you feel so inclined. Anyway, today we're going to be playing through DUREN'S route. DUREN'S the childhood friend of Zuleika, the main character, and he is interesting. To call him a love interest is a bit of a stretch, but I won't explain why just yet. I want you all the viewers at home, all 0 to 1 of you, uh, I want you all to see if you can pick up on the hints as we're playing through this route, and we'll talk about it at the end. Let's just say, Duran has a secret. Which is good because otherwise he's kind of boring. Anyway, if you missed the previous 2 live streams where we played through Shale's and Karelia's routes, they have been posted both on Twitch and YouTube, so go watch them. Each of those took about 2 hours, but I expect Durin's route to be a bit shorter. Same with Nephron's route, which we will play through next week. All right, with all that said, let's get started. And I think I figured out I have to switch to gaming first. And then go to full screen and wait for it to come up. Yay, there it is. Okay. All right. This is Memoirs of an Angel, Durin's route. Let's get started. Angels. They are beings created to serve and protect the gods, their creators. Most take the form of winged beasts to guard their masters dutifully, but in some rare cases, angels can take human form. There are only a few such angels in the whole world, and I happen to be one of them. My name is Zuleika, and I am the princess of the Tyrakan Empire. I am also well known for being let's see, a brilliant strategist, a fearless warrior, charismatic diplomat, a defender of the people, or a well-rounded ruler. So just a reminder, each of these represents a strength and a weakness as far as the stats go. And the 4 stats are intelligence, strength, charm, and kindness. So each of these little types corresponds to one of those stats, and each of the love interests has a preference for a particular stat. And then the well-rounded ruler at the bottom here is only available once you've played through the game at least once and gotten at least one ending, and then you'll be able to choose that. And what that does is it gives you a more neutral starting place, but also increases the number of actions you can take. So that's really good for if you're replaying the game and trying to get specific endings. But for today, we will just use one of the base types, and DUREN'S preferred stat is kindness. So we're going to choose a defender of the people. Or at least I was. As Tyreka went through a period of radical change, my life too was turned upside down. This is where my story begins. The long, bloody War of the Nations, which engulfed the entire continent in a struggle for power and land for nearly a decade, had finally ended with the death of my master, the mighty Tyrekan Emperor Osiris the Great. During this time, dozens of villages throughout Tyreka were destroyed, and the war left many people without homes or food, not to mention the thousands of lives lost in the battles themselves. The empty throne was quickly filled by Nephron the Cruel, the late emperor's younger brother, who played off the corruption of the high court to take the seat of power for himself. Now, we haven't really seen much of Nephron in the previous two routes. He really just kind of shows up at the end, and like, you have a little battle with him as if you know who he is. But he doesn't actually show up in their routes until the very, very end. Which is definitely something that I would like to fix if I ever get around to remaking this game. But anyway, today, we're gonna see a lot more of Nephron, so that'll be good. He had no apparent interest in helping to rebuild the nation that was destroyed by his brother's war, and instead seemed to focus solely on satisfying the rich noblemen who supported him. To make matters worse, I was forced out of my position by the High Court, who despised the idea of a woman in power, much less an angel. The new Emperor Nephron, however, offered to allow me to stay in the castle, as I had nowhere else to go. He had one condition, that I be his personal servant. I was now faced with what would be the most important decision of my life. Would I stay in the castle I had lived in all my life, even if I had to serve the man who killed my master, in order to fight the corruption of the court from within? Or would I leave the only life I had ever known? To live as a peasant, trying to repair the damage that had been done to the kingdom one step at a time? You'd think, after reading through this prologue 3 times now, that I'd be really good at it. That night, I sat in my bedroom, staring out at the starry sky and contemplating my next move. Perhaps this is punishment for what Emperor Osiris and I did during the war. Many people suffered because of how I used my gift of foresight to help Osiris win his battles, but what else could I have done? Osiris ordered me to do it, and as his angel I couldn't disobey. I'm looking at that because I was thinking about this the other day, but once upon a time, this line of dialogue actually changed depending on which personality type you chose at the beginning. So Gift of Foresight was specifically if you chose the intelligent personality type, but if you chose like the strong personality type, this line was different. But I'm trying to remember if that got removed in one of the subsequent versions, or if it's just that we kind of default to this Gift of Foresight because, like, how do you kill with kindness, as it were, right? I probably could have thought of something interesting there, but I don't know. We'll see next time, maybe, if I remember this. We'll see next time when we do the charming personality type, and see if I actually change that dialogue or not. I might have removed it. I might have just set it up to be the same no matter what. That way you can pretty easily skip through the prologue if you've seen it already. Osiris ordered me to do it, and as his angel I couldn't disobey. Or at least, that's what I tell myself. He had told me that it was for the people, for the nation we both loved, and I believed him, even though I knew in my heart it was wrong. He had gone mad with power, but I refused to admit it. This was the man who created me, after all, the man who always smiled, who showered me with gentle affection. He was the man who united the quarreling kingdoms long ago and created the Tyragan Empire, where for decades there were only peace and prosperity. He was a man who was once filled with pride and honor and love for his people. I can't believe that he became such a monster. And now, I can't believe that he's gone forever. Suddenly, the sound of glass breaking and shouting outside disturbed me from my thoughts. "Intruder! Get the intruder!" Before I knew it, the intruder was there in my bedroom with a knife in hand. I was positive this truly was my punishment. I looked my assassin in the eye, ready to accept my due punishment for the lives I helped destroy. He looked right back into mine, in position to deal the life-ending strike at any moment. I couldn't help but notice his features. Long silver hair and ice-blue eyes. He must be a Nalani, and a beautiful one at that. And those wings. Is he an angel? But to my surprise, he put away his knife, and instead held out his hand. "I do not wish to kill you. Come with me, princess. I'll take you away from here, before someone else is sent to finish the job." Shocked, I simply stared at him. I couldn't believe this was happening. "Hurry, take my hand." This was my best opportunity to get out of the castle and start a new life, one where I could help rebuild my beloved nation. But to leave with a strange man who came here to kill me could be dangerous. So, this is where the game diverges into two completely different paths. So if we take his hand, if we go with Shale, then we leave the castle and we go on this journey across the country, the Empire, and Shale and Karile are the love interests on that route. But because we want to romance during this time, we're gonna do I'm Sorry But I Can't, which will allow us to stay in the castle and experience that entirely different storyline. Very well then, I'm afraid I have no other choice. At the very least, I will try to grant you a quick death. He once again took out his knife and prepared to strike. Before the assassin could make a move, however, another young man came to my rescue. It was none other than Prince Duren, the angel of the new emperor and my closest friend. "Don't worry, Zuleika, I won't let this man hurt you." Duren readied his bow and shot at the assassin, narrowly missing, as he lunged himself out the nearest window, vanishing into the scenery below. "Are you alright?" "Yes, I'm fine." "Thanks, Duren. You really saved me there." "I'm just glad you're safe. I don't know what I would have done if something had happened to you." "Why don't you get some rest? I'll secure one of the extra bedrooms for you and have guards stationed outside. We'll make sure he doesn't come back." I nodded, but I doubted that I would be able to sleep easily that night. Though it had not been easy, I had made my decision. I would accept the Emperor's offer and remain in the castle. Alright, end of chapter 1. We've got 0 gold. So remember in the previous one, as Zuleika and Shale are escaping the castle, they grab some supplies, they get some gold. But that did not happen here. Duren came to Zuleika's rescue. Shale fled after the failed assassination attempt. No, he doesn't come up again. In case anyone thinks that I was smart enough to include that. No, I wasn't. He just doesn't come up again. And as mentioned, we are the kind personality type. So we've got 100 kindness, neutral values for intellect and strength, and charm is our weakness. So we only have 25 charm. The next morning, I requested to have an audience with the new ruler of the empire, Emperor Nephron himself. Though my decision was firm, I couldn't help but feel uneasy about the meeting. This was the man who supposedly killed his own brother for the throne, and he had an unnerving reputation as a cruel, manipulative man. I was determined not to let this stop me, however, and I forced myself to put on my bravest smile before entering the throne room. Good morning, Princess. Did you sleep well? I bowed, remembering my new, lowly status. Yes, Your Majesty, I slept wonderfully. I'm glad to hear it, but please, there's no need for you to bow your humble head to me. In your stunning presence, I am but an average man. I assume that this is about my offer, yes? I nodded silently. Then, what do you say, little princess? Will you stay by my side? I can say yes, Your Majesty, or what would happen if I said no? So, Nephron likes it when people play along with him. But we're not romancing Nephron. We're romancing Duren. So we're going to piss him off a lot. Sassy Zuleika, activate. What would happen if I said no? Even as I tried to stand firm and look defiant, I knew it was a daring move to ask such a question. One didn't say no to the Emperor lightly. Rather than getting angry, as I expected, Nephron kept his composure and merely smiled. I believe we both know what will happen if you refuse my offer. Osiris is dead, the High Court has abandoned you, and with a word I could have you killed right here and now without anyone knowing. No one would search for you, a mere angel, fallen without her dear master. It was all true, and we both knew it. If I valued my life at all, I had no other choice but to accept the Emperor's offer. Yes, Your Majesty. Fear slowly crept up my spine. There was no telling what he may order me to do, and my mind immediately leapt to the worst possible scenarios. But there was no turning back now. Good. I'm glad. For your first assignment, I would like you to sing for me. It doesn't matter what you sing. I just want to hear your voice. I stood there for a moment, puzzled. This was not what I expected from a man known for his cruelty. Was he messing with me? Please, little princess, sing a song for me, any song. Not knowing what else to do or what to expect, I did as the Emperor asked. I sang. Well, now that I'm done with my service to the Emperor for the day, I have some free time before nightfall. I can talk to Duren to earn charm, or ask him to train me for strength. If I really want to, I can even talk to Nephron to earn charm, or discuss politics for intelligence. I'm laughing, because, like, if I really want to. If I'm in a helpful mood, I can tidy up around the castle and earn kindness points. I can even go outside and look around the garden. When I'm ready to move on, I can rest. What should I do? So the mini games, each of the personality types has an associated little mini game for intelligence, depending on which path you end up on. There's like a mystery to solve. So we saw that with Shale's route and the putting the pieces together about the history of the continent that they're on, Aegea. The mystery for this path that we aren't going to see because we're not playing that personality type is solving the murder of Osiris. We've mentioned, the game has mentioned a few times now that Nephron was the one who killed Osiris, but as we will see probably more likely in Nephron's roots, Nephron claims that it wasn't him. He was framed. So there's a whole thing of trying to figure out the mystery behind that. But for kindness, which is the personality type we're playing now, it's a gift-giving mini game. So we can pick up little things or buy things to give as gifts to the love interests. Oh yeah, and the strength mini game was the martial arts tournament, which was like a little battle mini game. But yeah, so this time we have a whole thing of gift giving. So that was the mention of I can even go outside, look around the garden. Alright, so we're going to talk to Duren, talk to Nephron, and then actually, let's visit the garden first. Let's pick up our gifts first. Look at these flowers. They're beautiful. Yes, we will take them. What should I do now? Keep looking or go back inside? We will keep looking. So I think it's like you can get 3 things every time you go out to the garden. There's really no reason to leave them. There's no like inventory limits or anything like that. So we're gonna keep looking. We're gonna max out how many things we pick up. This fruit looks delicious. We will pick it up. What should I do now? We will keep looking. Oh hey, I found a gold coin. I doubt I could use this to pay with though. I think that's enough searching for today. It's time to head back inside. What should I do? Let's talk to Duren. Hello, Zuleika. How are you today? We will give you some gifts. And I think collecting gifts takes an action, but giving them does not take an action. At least that's what I'm hoping. Yeah, let's give him some wildflowers. These are pretty. Thanks, Zuleika. And maybe I'll give you this fruit, too. This is nice. Thanks. You're so funny, Duren. Huh? Me? Yes, you. You're always so shy and polite, except when you're angry. Then you're strong and confident, and it's like you're a whole different person. Managing my anger is one lesson I always failed. Lord Shale, my mentor, would scold me whenever I got like that while we were training. As an Alani, he believed in keeping one's emotions hidden at all times. It's a way of deceiving the enemy, or so he told me. And I can say, he sounds like a smart man. Or, that guy sounds like a total weirdo. Let's not insult Shale this time. He sounds like a smart man. Oh, he is. It's unfortunate that we can't continue our lessons anymore. Why is that? My master forbid it once he took the throne. Honestly, I bet it's just because he's afraid that I'll get too strong and overthrow him. Duren! You shouldn't be talking about that in the middle of the hallway. Where anyone could hear. It's treason. There you go, losing your temper again. Oops. What should I do? We have 1 action remaining. Okay, that's expected. Let's talk to Nephron. Back so soon, princess? I saved the gold coin for him, but I don't actually want to give it to him. Not this time, not this time. We'll do that later, next time. Let's talk. I heard there was quite a commotion going on in your room last night. Sorry, just thought of a joke. Yes, though I'm sure you've already heard all the reports. I have, and don't worry, Princess. The useless guards who allowed that vermin to get to you have been properly dealt with. I can say, thank you, Your Majesty, or dealt with how exactly? That is none of your concern. Oh, and by the way, those windows cost 50,000 gold each. I'll be expecting you to pay for the replacement, since it was you, after all, that he was after. What? You gotta be kidding me! I don't even have any money! You took it all already, remember? I never kid, Princess. Now then, run along. I have work to do. Well, we met Nephron, so he's in our party now. We really didn't have time to build up our stats too much. Which may or may not be a problem. We built up charm just from talking to people, but our kindness is still 100 and we still have 0 gold.